Why does it do this? There you go. It's there. Are you serious? That is so weird. Now it's there. Wow, that is really weird. So computer did like shut off because it was flickering lights and stuff. I'll get into that in a little while. But yeah, that was weird. I just went into the settings. It instantly started working, but as soon as I got out of the settings without changing a setting, it then went away. Anyway, whatever. So I have to physically make sure it's on my microphone, not default. Anyway, alrighty. Starting over. Welcome to Mondays with Max. 33rd week in a row. Max Voltage here. So thank you guys for all being here. It's been quite the day. Quite the day. I'll go over that in a little bit. But first, let's do some shout outs. So Crypto Dito, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Kyle Rogers, Chris GTR, Fried Electronics, Little Time Mining, Crypto Shaped, Bill Clancy, Root Puts, D Miners, Tains, Integra Guy, 041. Wow. All I can say is, wow, Integra Guy, I feel your pain. I really feel your pain. We'll talk about that very soon. Bacon, Eggs, and Hash, D Miners. Oh, by the way, Integra Guy, I understand if you need the extra $5 you pay me a month to be a member in order to pay your power bill. Totally understand. Anyway, K-Trim, 3 Foxco, At Home Crypto Miner, appreciate you being here. Baldini, good to see you. 4J, Hobbyist Miner, how are you? Murky Solution, Automatic Beats, Odin's Tech and Mining, thank you for being here. Hawk Crypto Mining, who will be on at an hour and a half from now. Let's just say that. Let's forego all of the questions about time zone. And about 90 minutes from now, he will be going live. Anyway, let's see. Cajun Crypto, At Home Crypto Miner. I don't think I said you yet. And of course, the infamous Sunflower Mama sitting next to me. And I may have covered. Oh, Mining King, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Boinker139, appreciate you being here. Here by service. Wow Henway. Aragorn Strider. Sorry, I mispronounced that. I'm going to try to make sure I get it right. Ildemaro Osechas. I'm pretty sure that's correct because every time I ask him, he says it's correct. Anyway, Meathead, good to see you. David Evans, Travelers Travels, Jay Bohannon. There was a radio announcer named Jay Bohannon. Sox Fan 96. So anyway, thank you guys all for being here. So today, I shut off all my rigs. Yeah. Time came, had to shut off my rigs. And I did not do that in response to Chump Chain saying he was shutting off all his rigs. I did mine at about, shut off at least about 40% of my hash rate at around 10:30 or so. Thinking, okay, should be able to get by. And then all hell broke loose. So let me show you what I am talking about. There we go. Let me bring that up here. Alrighty, so this is our current prices for the current hour. In fact, let me refresh that. Is that, well, that was last hour. Oh, that's right. We're right at the top of the hour. It hasn't done that hour yet. So anyway, let me go back to today. I don't know. You see something strange about that graph? So that's the cost of electricity. Now, look at the scale on the left. And that's not a typo. That is actual prices. So, my peak hourly price for power was 230.4 cents. $2.30 a kilowatt hour for between 3 and 4 p.m. today. $2.30. But wait, there's more. You see the two on the other side. They're not quite as high, but they're almost as insane. $1.37, we'll round up on that, sue me. $1.37, and then on the other side, $1.19. Yeah. I saw this coming right in the 2 to 3 hour. The 2 hours to 3 hours before this hit, I saw, so about 2:30 is when we shut off the rest of the rigs. Yeah, it was not pretty. Not pretty at all. So I will be turning my rigs on sometime in the next couple hours, at least until the morning. And then I probably will shut them off tomorrow morning before I leave for work or shortly after, because tomorrow is going to be super hot around here. So it's going to be really hard to keep the rigs cool, first and foremost. And secondly, I think the electric rates are going to be just as insane or possibly even more insane tomorrow. So let me explain a little bit about this program. So it's a variable rate. So this variable rate is completely market driven. And you say, well, why the heck would you volunteer to be on this program? The reason why is because most of the time it's way cheaper. I save like 30% on this program. Over the years, I've saved 30%. So yes, one couple of days where it spikes like crazy, not great, but you got the law of averages. You're going to basically make out like a bandit on the variable rate program. If I went back, probably, let's see. Let's go back a couple of days. This is probably... there's some days where it actually went negative about a couple weeks ago. I'm not there yet. See here, actually, it went down to 1.8 cents. There it went down to 1 cent. Anyway, take my word for it. Oh, there we go. There it was. There's another one. So, like, here's why you want to be on this program. Between 1 a.m., because 2 a.m. is the price between 1 and 2 a.m. So from 2 a.m. from 1 a.m. until 7 a.m., the actual price of electricity was negative. Now, that doesn't include distribution, so you're still paying a little bit. But because this is negative by 2 cents, I'm basically paying like 3 cents a kilowatt hour at these times. So this is why I want to be on this program, because when things really, really get tough, there's going to be at least times during the day where I can be profitable. So, but today, not one of those days, at least not all day. So anyway, I thought you guys would find that interesting. It is very, very unusual. That's the highest. I've been on this program for 7 years. That's the highest I've ever seen the electric rate ever. So definitely very, very unusual. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if we see just as high. But with that said, we usually see the highest electric rates when it ramps up, like when we go from a cool period to like 30 degrees warmer. It's that ramp up period because they can't predict the exact timing of the ramp up. But once you get to a hot temperature, then the capacity is somewhat ramped up. The problem is that today we got to about 90. Tomorrow is going to be more humid and about 98, 99 degrees in Chicago. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see at what time we actually turn off. So anyway, let me see what people are tagging me with. Okay, starting from the start. D miners, no voice. Yeah, I know. Muted, I know. No sound, I know. Still muted, I know. There you go. Thanks, Tains. And it's gone again. Yes, it was for a second. Alrighty. Hello from Venezuela. Yes, it's the one. Oh, I haven't been to I've been to Colombia and I've been to Brazil. I've not been to Venezuela, but I've heard it's absolutely beautiful there. Hawk says thanks. Just switch them all to Neoxia. No, I don't spec mine. At least not something that I have no idea if it's going to be a rug pull or if it's going to be worth anything. For those people that want to play the game to mine it, I don't think that. I mean, if you're having fun playing the game and you make some crypto that might be worth something in the near or distant future, yeah, then go for it. I have to admit, I do enjoy watching people play. I do not want to play though. Not interested. Integrity guy, I just turned mine back on. Yeah, stabilized now. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely profitable now. So I'll be doing that probably while we're on the stream, at least a few of them. The one I want to test something. I want to test turning on my Octominer. We'll go over that in a little bit. Let's see if there's anybody tagged me. Yes, hobbyist. Time to leave that plan. Not sure what's controlling that, but they are robbing you. Needs to be some guidelines in that plan. Seems very shady. It's not shady at all. It is market pricing. It's I'm trying to remember the name. There's actual market pricing, and I've gone over this in a previous stream, so I don't want to bore people that have already seen it, but it's not shady at all. Like I said, the overall you save money. Definitely save money, and it is absolutely market driven. When the demand for electricity goes up, it's supply and demand. The cost is going to go up. We have the ability to control when we use and how much power we use. So what we've done in the past when we didn't even mine, we pre-cooled the house at night and then we let it gradually increase during the day so that we're using a lot less power during the day when it's expensive and using most of the power at night when it's not. So yeah, I mean there's some people that I know, somebody in this chat, who actually charges his batteries at night and then discharges them after the electric rate gets over a certain level. So you have the ability to make use of that feature as well. So, and I actually have solar. So when the price of electricity goes up, I'm hopefully creating solar so that I'm not paying as much for my electricity. So today was kind of a cloudy day. We had some really, really nasty storms here a couple hours ago. So I had an okay day, okay solar day. I don't think I quite hit 30 kilowatt hours today. So, 30 to 40 is a good solar day. So, at any rate, hobbyist, the more people turn off, the better my yields. Yeah, that's absolutely true. The yields do go up, but as I've mentioned before, if you are mining at a loss, you're better off taking what you'd be spending in power and putting it into the crypto instead. You would have more crypto when you do that. Obviously, in my specific situation, it's kind of a little weird because my electric rates are so up and down. I tend, in the past, when it's not so crazy like this, and I see the electric rate go up to like 20 cents or something like that, I'm not concerned because I know the average is still very profitable. But when it gets that crazy high, yeah, that can really swing the averages that can affect you for a few days as far as profitability. Looks like Chump Change is here, so thank you for being here, Chump Change. Oh, yep, there he is. Yeah, it's nuts. Patrick Guyan, the more people to... Oh, yeah, that's what I just read. Boinker, this is the moment I am glad my personal operation is small. However, this sucks for people that have a medium and above sized home setups. Yes, trying to cool your house with I've only got 2.3 gigahash. There's other people that have way bigger setups than me trying to keep their rigs cool. I can do it, up until like the mid 80s, but once it gets above the mid 80s, then it gets a little uncomfortable in the house. But usually you can keep about somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 degree temperature differential when I'm air conditioning the house between the basement and the first floor. So it's doing much better than it has done in the past. Now, I'll also talk about one little modification, and by say one little modification that I made, I mean the one that Sunflower Mama actually made. So anyway, yeah, and actually Sunflower Mama makes a great point. We get alerts when the price goes up, so it's not like we're surprised. In fact, on my phone, unfortunately, the widgets haven't been working very, very well. But let me see. Yeah, I don't think it's doxing. Let me at least key it up so that they show up in the upper. Focus. There we go. Those two right there the 10.4 and 11.8, those are widgets on my phone that tell me what the current power price is. So right now at 8:05, it's 10.4 cents per kilowatt hour. From 7 to 8, which was the last hour, it's 11.8 cents per kilowatt hour. So on hot days, I know to monitor it, and they give you the tools to do so. So it works. Let's see. Can you run a 220 volt strip on solar? So Jay Bohannon, I have it actually tied into my home. It's tied into the grid. So basically, the home is pulling electricity. It doesn't care. The home doesn't know whether it's pulling from the solar panels or pulling from the grid. The grid and the solar panels come together. It's kind of like if you've got a river coming downstream and it has a certain flow. Well, the incoming creek, and you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm like using my hands. But anyway, the incoming creek can only fill as much as the flow is pulling it. And that's basically what if the house is pulling, 1,000 watts and I'm generating 5,000 watts. I'm going to put 4,000 watts into the grid and pull the 1,000 watts into the house. Now, if I'm doing what I normally do, which is pulling about 7.5 kilowatt hours, and I'm only putting out maximum 5 kilowatt hours, yeah, there isn't any time of the day where I'm not going to be pulling from the solar panels and pulling a bit from the grid. So at least when the whole all my rigs are on. So I'm hoping for a little bit of time that I was actually making some decent money off of solar, because I turned so much off. I turned the air conditioner off, did a whole bunch of things. So actually, when I see that, if I can catch it, turn everything off, I can actually make a good amount of money off my solar. And like I said, at that point, I'm better making money on the solar than I am making money on mining at that point. So anyway, and what I basically can do at that point is take that money and pocket it as a credit later on down the line to pay for cheaper power when my rig is running. So if I can get paid $2.30 at normal times, that would run at 10 cents. You see what I'm saying? It runs for, could basically pay for my rigs running maybe, 12 to 14 hours or something like that, just using quick math in my head. Anyway, so let's see. What else? Is it fully underground basement or split level? Fully underground. So it generally stays cooler down there. I have a window fan that wonderful Sunflower Mama built. There is a video on that if you want to check it out. But it's a 10-inch fan, window fan, basically. It's a gable fan, but we built it into a board that we put into the window, and it blows directly outside. And I usually leave 2 other windows open to pull the air, and I have fans on those windows pulling air in. So that definitely gives me enough airflow. Plus, it's in a big basement area that is pretty much like a very, very large grow tent. So because it's large, it just takes a lot more heat to it takes a lot longer for it to heat soak. So it's not going to cool down super fast, but it's also not going to heat up super fast. So it works really, really well. Now, obviously, if I get more graphics cards at some point, yeah. Point that we were looking at was we're going to look to see when the next bull run may happen for both crypto and mining. And at that point, we have talked about building a new shed outside that would have a mining side as well as an outdoor side to it. So it would be a much bigger shed than we currently have. So anyway, just that's for down the line. Let's get past the merge. Let's see where we are. Oh, just I understand running from the power from the roads, just setting up running from solar. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna pull from either. It's gonna take all of the solar and then only gonna add what it needs from the road. Hopefully that answers your question, or maybe you were just making a statement. Yeah, ETH network Hash rate is still at 1 petahash as some switch off. Seems like others come online. Yeah, it's interesting. I think as the profitability started to increase, maybe others started to turn back on. But again, I think I didn't actually do any investigation of this ahead of time. I did notice that my yield had gone up at Flexpool. I'm wondering if they got some really, really large blocks. If any of you know if Flexpool got really large blocks, let me know. I'm going to keep on the stream. I'm not going to get distracted by that, but I did notice that my um, estimated earnings per day went from about 0.27 to about 0.37. So again, a significant increase, which, like I said, I expect was due to a couple of large blocks. So, okay. Let's do this. So one of the things that came to mind as I was going through this today was, okay, now I've got them off. How do I turn them back on? And I've had some discussions with Matt Electron as well as Rondi about remote controllable PDUs. So that's obviously one option. But what I came across today as I was looking at the power options, in fact, let me bring that up. We'll come back to that later. Okay. Was in the power options, there is Wake on LAN. I was like, does that really work? I had never heard of that before. I mean, I've heard of Wake on LAN, but I did not hear that like it had been specifically built in to the Octominer setup. So I haven't been able to find anywhere that somebody said this does or does not work. I found a few things that say it doesn't work, but not really anything definitive. So, hey, let's see what happens. Select which worker. No options. Wake up worker? Interesting. I guess it doesn't work. Because I don't think that is going to work. Yeah, it didn't send a command. All right, well, I saw that and I was like, hey, does Wake on LAN work for Octominers? That would have been really cool if it did. Now, one of the things I did find out, and this is a really kind of crude way to shut off your miners for a period of time. But you know how it says shut down and boot in 30 seconds? So shut down and then boot in 30 seconds. That command is just sreboot wake alarm space 30. That's basically what that is. That's a reboot in 30. You know, basically shut down and then reboot in 30. That's what that does. So what I did at 2:28 today, because I was hoping that at 3 o'clock it would actually be better, but it wasn't. I put sreboot wake alarm 1920 on my AMD rig, and it did restart. I also set it on my RebTech. Both my RebTech rigs doesn't work, unfortunately. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but it definitely does not work at all. There's a number of things. So first thing with RebTechs is there's no communication directly to the power supplies through that 6-pin PCIe. There's no communication. That's just power. Nothing more, nothing less. So unless you have some other way of communicating with that server power supply, you can't do that. So I haven't looked into that further, but I just have the two power supplies hooked up thinking, yeah, no big deal. So I have to have somebody here in order to turn those off and on. But anyway, it did work with my AMD rig, which is running on a Zotac motherboard. It did boot right back up. So for instance, tomorrow, if I do an sreboot command and do number of seconds equal to around 12 hours, let's say I stop it at around 7 a.m. and then I want to restart it at about 7 p.m., then I just have to figure out how many 3600 times 12, whatever that is. So, all I have to do is do that, put that number in there, after the S reboot wake alarm, and it'll wake up and start mining at that point. So I haven't tried that on the Octominer, but it should work. So anyway, alrighty. I see unsubbed by Chum Change. Not cool, man. Not cool. All right. Well, let me see what I get here. What's the only reason he's here? Oh, the only reason why you're here is because you wanted to see if this wake alarm worked. Yeah, sorry, it didn't work. It was a shot in the dark. Hey, the command's there. Why wouldn't it work, right? I was only following the manual by Chump Change, YOLO it. So that's what I did. So the unboxing project said, yes, switched PDU units. I'm looking into the same thing. Easier to control when hard reboot is needed, and it's more consistent. Yeah, definitely. So Unbox Project says you have to define it in the BIOS of the machine as long as CMOS is charged. Yeah, I originally had thought about that. So I have to make sure that it is active in the BIOS, that there is a wake on LAN option. The other part is if I want to do this remotely, I have to make sure that I do a port forward on a specific set of well, not a specific set, but one specific broadcast IP address so that it broadcasts out. And then you have to know, I believe, the MAC address of each of your rigs and then specify your rig that way. That's the way you do it if you did like a third party app. I haven't seen any instructions on how to use it in HiveOS. So yeah, more to come on that. I'll be doing some research into that because I find that pretty interesting. And I haven't seen any content on that. So there you go. Yeah, it's definitely in the BIOS of the motherboard, no question. I just thought if it was already an option in HiveOS, I was thinking that meant that it might come, predefined with that wake on LAN feature on. So anyway, and D-Miner says, just run a schedule. Well, the problem with just running a schedule is, yeah, the power cost doesn't run on a schedule. It can change at any time of the day. I've seen it spike at 7 a.m. I've seen it spike at 1 p.m. I've seen it spike at 6 p.m. Today it spiked between, like 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock. That's when it spiked. So you just don't know what it's going to be, and they can't predict it. So that's why just running a schedule isn't always the answer. And actually, on that D-Miners, I did look into time of use pricing, and definitely money could be saved doing that as well. The cost of the non-prime times was about 2 cents less than the standard rate, which would bring down the rate down to about 10.7 cents. Still more than I am paying on average with the variable rate program. So not a great solution, but I thought, well, hey, it's more predictable. Yes, it's some insurance. Doesn't matter. That program's closed right now in ComEd. They've met their quota. They're not entering any more people in it currently. So maybe sometime in the near future, but it is a good option, especially when you're looking to reliably change and lower your cost of electricity at certain times of the day. So Mercury Solution says smart outlets would do it. Yeah, except you got to get some funky adapters or find a smart plug that just does C13 to C14. I've looked for those, can't find smart plugs that go C13 to C14. So you have to find ones that, if you have 120, yeah, 120 with standard plugs, yeah, that's great. I used to run them that way. But the other part of it is that usually the plugs are not rated to run at high power for a long period of time and have caused fires, just like the power meters have. So that's something to be cautious about. Tains, Wake on LAN will work with Octominer. You have to enable in the BIOS. I have one that shows up in Wake on LAN and the other doesn't. Okay. Well, that's interesting because like I said, the feature's there, but I don't have it as an option as far as to select that one. So I will hook that up and see what I can find in the BIOS. Yeah, so the smart PDU would be the best answer, but it costs money. So currently scanning eBay from time to time, looking to see if I can find what I'm looking for there at a reasonable price. Buying things for mining was really easy when the profits were there. And now with profits pulling back, yeah, well, I don't really want to spend a whole heck of a lot. It's easy when you can pay for it out of profits. Yeah, AP8941 PDUs. Interesting. I will take a look at that. And let's see. Oh, cool. Crypto shape. Work on land does work. I just confirmed it twice. All right. So it must just be a matter of mine didn't come with it on as a standard setting. So I will have to turn that on in the BIOS and see what happens. So thank you, Crypto Shaped. And there you go. Chump change. Well, I guess that probably means Chump Change is just going to subscribe to Crypto Shaped and unsubscribe to me, since Crypto Shaped is the one that gave the answer. Anyway, thanks, Crypto Shaped. I appreciate you you giving us that information. All right. Well, enough on that. So talking a little bit about earlier tonight. So we had a nasty storm run through. And so yeah, we were in the basement. We had a couple of tornado warnings go off. The rotating, I don't know if there was an actual tornado, but the rotating part of the storm went only a few miles north of us. I was actually outside watching the rotating part when I saw it kind of change a little bit, get a little bit closer, and saw like the flank coming at us. And then the second tornado went off at that point. I'm like, okay, I'm going inside now. And then looked at the radar and saw that there was like a secondary hook that was much closer, but there was actually no rotation with that. So we were fine, but it definitely looked nasty. That's for sure. But anyway, it was fun to watch, except definitely got some fluctuations in our power. Thankfully, all the rigs were off, so I don't have to worry about that. But it did shut off the router and shut off computers and flaked some things out. So when my flux nodes came back up, they did not like whatever had just happened. They were both down hard. And so I had to restart them both. And thankfully, even though it looked like they were having a little bit of an issue, they both came up on their own, and they weren't down long enough to lose my place in line. So both nodes still stayed confirmed, which was nice. So good on that. I was very happy about that. But yeah, we were, like I said, we were only a couple of miles, and storm went right through downtown Chicago. Although I don't know how much rotation was still left by the time it got there. So Blue Dragon Mining says the storm's completely missed where I am southeast of you today. Yeah, they were definitely up north. The first part where I saw the rotation was in Carpentersville, and then it went through. It actually went right by where I work. There was an 84-mile-an-hour wind gust at O'Hare Airport, which is just south of where I work, like a stone's throw. So yeah, all the people that were working second shift were in the tornado shelter, or where we put people for tornadoes, and they were safe. And we don't mess around with that kind of stuff at work. As we know that there's been occasions where people haven't moved quick enough, and there's been tragedy. We definitely don't want that to happen where we are. Anyway, K-Trims asked me, did you update your nodes recently? Yes, I did. What was interesting is one of mine is on automatic, one of them isn't. So one of them did automatically update and stayed online this time. So it looks like they may have fixed their problems, or maybe I just had a sporadic problem like 2 times ago when it went offline when it did an update. And then the other one is not. And so that one I go through FluxOS and actually do the update there, where I go into Flux Admin and then go into FluxOS, and there's a spot where you can update FluxOS. So it's really, really easy. So anyway, so yes, both of my Flux nodes are on 3.20. Right now, it's as of, actually, I think it was today, now that I think about it. Nodes that did not update to at least 3.19, we're going to basically be deprecated until they update it. So all of those would go offline and be done. So, but that was definitely not the case with me. That had nothing to do with what happened. It was all having to do with the change in, brownout. It didn't completely go off. It kind of partially went off a few times, and all those things that will kill appliances. Gotta love it. Anyway, if you have questions for me, please do tag me. It makes it a lot easier for me. I know people that are on mobile, it's a lot harder, but if you are on desktop, please do tag me. Sunflower Mama just said 78,000 people are without power. That does not surprise me at all. Not at all. Bacon, eggs, and hash. You are north of me. I got some of that storm, but not the tornado. Well, that's good. Yeah, usually the southern edge of the storm gets the worst of it. So Meathead says, any thoughts of going heavy into flux nodes right after the merge? My only question is, why wait? Now, the profitability isn't amazing or anything, but the key point is that it's 5 watts of power. It costs next to nothing to run. I mean, if you're running a Pi, if you're running a computer, maybe it's 10 to 15. It doesn't cost much to run. So even if you don't make much, you're making something. But you have to look at what your hardware investment is. For me, Pi, I'm anywhere from like 180 to 250. That's what I have into each node as far as the hardware cost. So, anyway, let's see. Hobbyist Miner question for Mr. Really, Mr. Can you set up my Flex node for me? I did not set it up for him. I just gave him guidance. He did everything himself. It was just kind of like me holding his hand and making slight adjustments. Nope, don't do that. Do this. Nope, do this. So yeah. And oh yeah, you want to go there. And yes, you want that version of Ubuntu, not that version, right, Hawk? So I give Hawk a hard time about it, but I am the one that pointed him to the wrong version. So it is my fault. So I didn't notice that they didn't have the older version of Flux node. So yeah, if you are thinking about doing a Flux node, you must be on 20.04.4, not 22. And you must be on the server and LTS version of that. So 20.04.4 and LTS version of that and the server version of that. So if you download that, you're going to be ahead of the game. If you download the newer one, it does not have Mongo database on it and will not work with Mongo database because it's not licensed or something with the new version. I don't know. Bottom line is you need 20.04.4 in order to use the database, which is Mongo database required. So anyway. Okay. Yes. SSD, not SD. I'm not sure where I talked about that, but actually with a Pi, you actually have both. You have a micro SD card that has your operating system on it, and then you have an SSD that you get mounted, and that's what keeps all of the data and the chain and all of the node stuff on it. So you have both on a Pi. Let's see. What is the minimum upload speed to run a node? Good question. That is 25 megabits per second. And there are lots of people, I would say, most people cannot meet that requirement. Now, they are not enforcing that currently, but they will be shortly. So yes, you can run a node for as long as they allow you to, but they want the network to run well. You're basically running a web server. That's basically what you're running for the network. So actually, I noticed on mine, where did I put that? I had pulled it up. on one of my many tabs. That's right. I'll pull it up. But anyway, I had a an app on one of my nodes, which I thought was really interesting. So I don't remember what it's called, so bear with me here while I get it. UPnP, yeah, there it is. Flux app Ethereum node Lite. That I have 8 instances of it on my Flux node. So basically 8 different port addresses. Oh, I take it back. 1, 2, 3. It's actually 4. It's just the fact that they have separate instances of the UDP for TCP and UDP. So they have an external port, an internal port, port forwarded for both TCP and UDP. So there's 2 entries. So it is actually 4 instances of that. So anyway, Kirk Solar says, did I get Hawk's 1 terabyte external SSD working on his node? No, I did not. But if he wants to do that as part of his stream tonight, I'd be happy to help him. But he's probably getting ready for it, so we'll see. Alrighty. Cooter Basher. Storm knocked out my power. What did I miss? Yeah, ours almost did too. Thankfully, ours came back. Our router came back up. Our cable modem came back up. All that stuff. So, wow, Mining King. YouTube doesn't like that comment, but somebody else approved it. He needs cool on that pie. Yeah, very funny. Very funny. Yeah, Northern Indiana got blasted like obviously after we did, but yeah, that was a nasty cell going through, that's for sure. So anyway, alrighty, let me see. I know kind of got off track a bit. Oh, so we talked about heat coming. So this weekend, I started thinking about how can we better evacuate the air from the basement, because it's in a window well. The fan's in a window well. So it's blowing straight against the edge of the window well. So it's got to, be blowing it back at it and basically making it less efficient by doing that. So, like, how can we fix that? So we ended up putting in there was a piece of cardboard that basically went the width of the fan, and basically created a scoop. Don't know how much it's helping it. It's not hurting it. I know that. It's definitely not hurting it. But we did learn there's a lot of other factors that are as important, if not more important. One of them is the window well, in order to keep water out of the window well and off of my rigs as well, is that there's a cover over the window well. And then there's like a mesh area about that tall all the way around, and it's screened and everything. So, or the screen goes over the top of the window well. So, but that's how much space is for the air to come up and then out all the way along the edge of the window well. But again, it's still going to hit that as opposed to just blowing out however it wants. So anyway, so when we were doing some testing, we did realize that if we left the cover off, it definitely vacated the heat a couple of degrees better, without anything changing outside. So that worked out really well. We learned that if we know we're going to have sunny day, no rain whatsoever, just take that off and it will help keep it cooler in the basement. So, but anyway, so we put the scoop in there. Seems to be working well. So, oh, thanks Galactus. Thanks for bringing the mood of the crowd down. Ethereum almost at 1100. Great. I know that there are some cheerleaders that are saying, go down, go down, go down. I hear you. There's benefits to that. It'll go back up. But, and this actually brings me back to one of the other things I wanted to talk about tonight, which was we talk about, different things happening in crypto and just have a plan. What are you going to do if? And I've had a plan for when it goes down. I said, okay, I'm going to ride it out. with a certain portion of my portfolio of crypto. I'm going to ride it out, and go from there. I had a plan for when it becomes unprofitable. I had a plan for when the merge comes and it's unprofitable. I've had a plan, but I haven't implemented it yet for when electricity rates go up. It's have a plan for every instance. That way, when it happens, you're not like, oh, what am I going to do? You already said this might happen, and now you know what to do, because it's just, okay, I already said what I was going to do when I was of more sound mind and not panicking, which a lot of people are doing right now. So yeah, just have a plan. Just have a plan. Like I said, I already just told you what my plan was keep a certain portion of my portfolio and ride it out. So, alrighty. Yeah, I already said I thought BTC would hit 19 or right around 19 when it was on when it was going down. Hopefully, I don't think it'll go less than 19, but that's kind of where I saw the floor. So I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, we'll all see. All the markets are bad right now. Yeah, a lot of people are waiting for those liquidation sales. It's the tough part is you don't want to catch a falling knife. So at the same time, you're like, well, I don't want to lose out on the opportunity either before it starts to go back up. So yeah, there's that. I tend to buy a little bit on the way down. So that's what I have done. Have not put on my next buy. The last buy I put in was like around 26 actually. So I haven't put in another one yet. So anyway, unboxing project. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. I won't do the rest of that. Anyway. Alrighty. Let's see here. What else did I say I was going to talk about tonight? I talked about that. Yeah, so tomorrow, like I said, heat and humidity is going to be absolutely nuts. We have not hit 100 degrees in Chicago since 2012. It's been 10 years. So we're kind of due, and it's going to be really close tomorrow. So we'll see if we actually hit 100 degrees tomorrow. And it's not going to be the dry heat. This is going to be the nasty, sticky heat. Definitely, heat indexes it's going to feel like 105 to 110. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Hey, who out there has a helium miner that's working? Yeah, we've definitely seen some helium miner profits go up. That's one bright spot as far as yield. And so got that much going for us. And again, you'll see kind of a theme. I knew that the merge was coming. I knew that mining, I don't think mining's doomed. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there is going to be this ice age. There's going to be a period of time where it's not going to be profitable. It just won't be. There will be a certain fall off immediately, and then it will be a slow trickle to the point where it becomes break even. And then a lot of people are going to mine when it gets close to break even, or continue to mine, I should say, when it's close to break even if it's still at a little bit of a loss. I'll still be off at that point. Then it's going to figure out, okay, how long are these people going to keep doing this? Or maybe, crypto goes up, demand for a particular project goes up, Flux comes out with proof of useful work, needing more demand for it. There's lots of things that can change. But until there's a change, we're going to be in for some tough times. So that's one of the reasons why I looked into some of these other projects where you can mine still at a profit. Again, nothing to get rich over, but hey, at least you can mine at a profit. So Helium is one of those. Running a node is another one, although that technically is more like staking than it is than mining. Helium is more like mining. You're not staking anything. You're just have a piece of hardware that is doing proof of coverage. It's doing a task where it's earning money from doing that task. The node kind of does that too, but it's not, you're getting paid the same amount no matter what task you're doing on the network. So Anyway, but yeah, my helium over the past month, I'm at between 5 and 6 helium made across um the three helium miners that I have, and going up. The profits recently have been higher than they've been, and I had long periods of time where one was like 7 days in the last month where one of my miners was down. Another one which was down like 3 days, and then another 3 days on either side of a 1 day where it was making some money. So getting more consistency, as well as um, my main one, which is at my house. That one's doing very well. It's got a lot of consistency to it. I mean, some days, of course, are better than others, but it is making money every single day now, and it wasn't doing that for a while. So one of the things I've learned about helium mining is I look at all three of my locations. So my location, it's in a good location. First of all, it's on a relatively high point surrounded by lower, so that means it's a good location. And then placing it correctly to give it its best chance for doing well. So at my location, it's placed pretty well. It would be better if it was outside, but due to a lot of different factors, it's really not super feasible to do that. I could do that if I put it on the back of my house, but the topography isn't as good out the back of my house, as it does go up a little bit. It goes up about 20 feet going that direction. And I'm better off putting it on the front of my house where the topography goes down, which means I can see across and further on that side of the house. The problem is that the front of the house, the window is the one window, and there's only one window on the front of the house that I could actually use that's on the second floor, and that's a fixed pane window, which means I can't run the cable outside, like through the window and duct tape around it, and that type of thing, and then mount it to the outside. So can't really do that there. Now, as far as my other two locations, one of the locations is in an extremely good location. It's high up, overlooking a lot. Okay. Now, the issue that I have there is it's inside, it's on a single story, and it's in a concrete house. It's a concrete brick, or what's that called? You talking to me? I was. I thought you were still listening to the stream. What's that brick called? That your sister's house made out of? Cinder block. That was the word I was looking for. I couldn't think of it. Anyway, but yeah, it's made out of cinder block. So obviously not a lot's going to go through that. So putting it against a window is fine, but it isn't really going to radiate anywhere else except mostly directly out that window. So it isn't a good location, but the placement isn't ideal. So it'd be better if it was outside. Way better if it was outside. But it's definitely getting some good results. Some days it's actually better than mine, but most days it's not. But it does comparably well. Again, because their location is actually better than mine. With their transmit scale being, I believe, still 1. If it's not 1, it's just slightly below. Oh no, I think it's 0.72 now. It went down a little bit. But mine's 0.5, that one's 0.72. Now, my other location, that one location is okay. But it's like flat as a pancake, and it's on a first floor window. So yeah, that one's not ideal. It does okay. It makes money. It just doesn't make a lot. So maybe at some point I might think about seeing if there's a way we can get it into a better location, get a external antenna, that type of thing. But for right now, that's the situation I'm in. And yeah, works well. So Murky Solution asked me, is it an OmniWhip antenna or a directional antenna? So the one I have, all the antennas are the omnidirectional. The one that I have, I actually bought. I can't remember the place. I want to say McKenna antenna, but that's not it. Starts with an M. But anyway, I bought a 5.8 dB antenna for that one, so I'm using that. So it's basically 2.8 dB higher than the standard antenna. Plus, I think it just gives a clearer signal because of where it's located versus being right next to the actual unit. I mean, I definitely like the fact that you can keep the antenna away from the actual miner itself, because if you put the miner in the window, it's going to heat up if it's on the south side of the house, which is what I have at home. On either of the other locations, it's not on the south side of a home. It's actually in a shaded area for most of the day, so it doesn't actually get heated up by the sun through the window. So anyway, so yeah, so that one's not a great location, and it's not a great placement either, and it shows in the results. So the key is getting it in a good location with a really good placement. So yeah, and Hobbyist Miner said he's had great luck with his 8 dB antenna. I have debated on whether to buy an 8 dB antenna and then hand me down the 5.8 dB antenna down to one of my other locations. So that has definitely been a thought in my mind. But for right now, I'm just going to kind of stick with what I've got. Again, I'm kind of holding back on some purchases due to the profitability. And I don't know how many more helium miners are going to go on the network, which obviously will affect profitability as well. But looks like they're starting to solve their issues and profitability has gone up, which is nice. So yeah, and Murky Solutions said Cinder Block House. Yeah, so thank you very much for pointing that out. And then Bacon, Eggs, and Hash says I have a 4.5 omnidirectional. It works pretty well. So that's cool. Calamon Mining. Still waiting on a guy to bring a 24-foot extension ladder to mount my 10 dB antenna. Yeah, I've used a 24-inch or 24-foot extension ladder in high winds. It was not fun. It hurt. It definitely hurt. We were trying to clean out our gutters, and yeah, we won't do that again. So, oh, Kirk Solar says just got my refund from Parlay Labs for the 5 Nebras I ordered last April. Well, good thing you got your return. Good on them for doing that. Question is, did you pay in Bitcoin or in dollars? It sounds like from what you said, and the fact that you weren't angry about it when you said that, looks like you paid in dollars and you got repaid back in dollars. So you didn't lose anything except for the minuscule interest that you might have earned on that money. Calamon Mining. Can't wait to drill a hole in the siding of my house. Yeah, that's the way I felt when I actually fixed my my solar inverter, because the 3G radio on it was deprecated. And it's actually kind of interesting. Sorry, going into a completely different subject. So, as I've talked about, I have solar on my house. I have to be able to report back the SREX. So basically, I have to report back what the amount of solar that I produce is, so that I can prove that I've earned the SREX that were predicted, because I've been prepaid for the SREX that the system will earn. So when they deprecated the 3G modem, I needed another way to communicate back. They're like, yeah, we'll come out and replace your 3G modem with a 4G, 5G modem, and it'll only cost you $500. I'm like, no, I don't think so. So I made a video where I fixed that for less than $25 and drilled a hole through the side of my house in order to get the Ethernet cord through the side of the house into the inverter. So anyway, so that's the long story of how I can relate to drilling a hole in the side of my house, Kirk. So anyway, let's see if there are any other questions, because that's pretty much all of the topics I had for tonight. So the rest of this will be AMA. I'm just double checking. No, I do not have any other notes. So anybody have any questions out there? Oh, wow. Bacon Eggs Hash says, they're not giving returns anymore. You got them just in time. Wow. Yeah, I know that I heard someone got either a GPU in the mail or a Helium miner in the mail because, oh, it was too late to cancel. Yeah, how convenient is that when in both cases most people aren't wanting to buy anymore? And I would agree. I would not suggest buying a Helium miner at this point. Um, we want to keep more for me, hobbyist mining king. Keep those profits. We don't want any more of them on the network. Anyway, I'm kidding. But there's just a lot of unknowns. If you're doing it like I'm going to definitely make money, no, helium mining is spec mining. It really is. Now, do I believe in helium? Yeah, I do. I think they will eventually figure it out. I don't know when. I don't know if they're going to figure it out before their competitors, and they do have competitors. But yeah, I do believe in helium. I think they will figure it out. I don't have a 100% feeling on it or anything, but I think that they will. I give it, 60, 40, I guess is the way I'm at. So they're certainly not putting it out of the realm of possibilities for them to, screw it up and let somebody else come in and steal their thunder. Let's see. Yeah, Kirk Solar. There were only 23,000 helium miners when you ordered it. Yeah, I hear you. Kalama Mining shutting down my 580s at midnight. Interesting. Oh, nice. So hobbyist miner is going to be basically drilling that hole through to the outside of his house to mount his. Yeah. Oh, well, whoever the new subscriber was, I'm sorry I missed it. But thank you for becoming a new subscriber. I do appreciate that. And let's see. Blue Dragon Mining said, I canceled my A2000 orders from BLT a week ago. Yeah. Better make sure that they confirm that and they're actually not going to ship them. I know a guy that got shipped an A2000 when he didn't really want it. So yeah, it is what it is. Mining King triple monitors is amazing. Can play Rust and watch Max. Triple monitors. Dang, I need another monitor. Unboxing project. Max, thanks for keeping me occupied while assembling a new work from home standing desk. Oh, nice. Which standing desk did you get? Not that I'm going to be getting one, but I'm just always curious about those. I think they're cool. Let's see here. What did you get? Oh, you just got them. Which monitor did you end up getting, Mining King? I know you probably told me, but I don't remember which one. Did you get a 32 inch or a 27 inch? I think you got a 32 inch 4K, if I remember correctly. I'm waiting for confirmation, Mining King. Oh, Sox fan says I have an 8dB antenna if you want it. Why don't you use it, Sox fan? Why are you not using the 8dB antenna? All right, what is the maximum price of a 3070 that triggers you to buy it? Wow. Yeah, that I have to go through some calculation. I'm just not even looking at this point. That's the thing. Somebody would have to be like, if you can get it for this, I guess honestly, I would probably be looking to see what the general market was at, and I'd probably want to pay about half that. So right now, the market for a 3070, I'm guessing, and again, I haven't looked, I'm guessing is probably about $500, the standard MSRP. So I'd probably be interested in the $250 to $300 range, somewhere in that range. Because guess what? I'd probably just want to turn around and sell it at that point. I would not want to add, or I would go and sell a different card. Like maybe I'd sell a 1660, hopefully for about the same amount, and gain some hash rate out of it. So do something like that is what I'd be looking to do. Let's see. Max, I have two 29-inch ultra wide and two 24-inch 1920 HD above them, and I could definitely use one more. LOL. See, I have a tab addiction It sounds like Unboxing Project has a monitor addiction. Anyway, alrighty, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up. Give you guys some time to go to the bathroom, get a drink before Hawk starts in 25 minutes. Hopefully, give me a chance to kind of hook up and see if he wants to do anything with that node tonight. But at any rate, appreciate you guys all being here, and we will see you next Monday. And again, thanks for everything, and everybody have a good night.